When it comes to art, people have to be very clear about why they're doing their art.
Right.
Like whether it's music, paintings, graphic design, what have you, that's really just about that bottom line.
I'm a writer and a story consultant, and I produced 2 movies and directed one in Los Angeles, and I did a lot of theater. So I think I'm one of those people who sort of just learn as I go along.
There's been 3 things in my life that have kind of kept me moving from the time I was a young adult. Music and art, entrepreneurship and business, and community service.
I started Satori Productions from some advice from another producer-director who was just like, you're going to have so many projects that are in so many different stages all at one time, they're going to need an umbrella company to all be under. And so I decided to start Satori Productions so that we would all have a place to call home.
I was about 16 years old and had a mentor that had a space, and he said, I'm not using this space, why don't you invite some young people? I'll invite some people in the industry. And we stuck with it, and years later, we created Lyricist Lounge.
So now, how do you make money in this industry? What's going on in making money? Because there's a lot of money being made. I was just online this morning looking at the film, industry and the billions of dollars that it's making, and of course a lot about the writers' strike and what happened, with that and how much money did they get versus how much money they should be getting. And then of course music is huge. One of the things I saw last night, we were talking about as we were setting up in music in particular, that the digital music industry was like, what was it, 1.3 billion or something like that? But that only equated to like 10% of overall consumer spending in music, and I thought that was pretty interesting. So, how do you make money in this industry?
Well, you gotta stay on the ball, I think. You have to. Another thing that I thought about when you asked this question is why I did this, because I think I like to work for myself. It has something to do with your personality. And if you have a certain personality, then, and that applies to making money as well, that's why I'm saying this, because I think you have to sort of just go after it. And what I've noticed is my work is so project-based. So when you do have a project that sort of comes to fruition and you do make money of it, that you then cannot stop at all. So you have to keep going right to the next thing, right?
Pretty much.
Because once that ball drops, it's like so difficult to pick it up again. It's the networking and your energy also. I think it has something to do with being in that spin energy somehow. So people sometimes don't agree with me, but then I always do my own thing. So and that has paid off. This year has been so good.
What's interesting, just to add on, being kind of multi-talented, which I know a lot of us are, you can kind of choose what project you want to get involved in, which is really a blessing.
Yes.
Like some people take whatever comes their way, but I think you get to a certain point, especially in this time, that you can really choose what you want to be involved in. So, knowing what your monthly cost, everyone wants to make as much money as possible, so be it. But depending where you are in your life, you can donate time to a certain project. You can do another project with the hopes of down the line it will pay off. So I've started my company at 16. I'm now in a different point in my life. I have an independent, deal with Current. So I make money as an independent producer through Current TV. But more importantly, my time is being kind of shifted towards like, what can I do to give back?
But when you're looking at projects, do you do a cost estimation to determine, how much is it going to cost me to be involved in this project, and will I be able to make money from the project, or you just choose it because you enjoy what's happening with the project?
I think it's both. I mean, it's always about the bottom line, but as an artistic person, I think as you get older, you trust your ability to have a sense of what other people will like, and as an artist, I'm not just making music for my sake. We make music or product while we live in a real society with real people. And so ultimately we end up creating products that people like. For me at least, much of my access is based on my social network.